presenting about chapter 2 of Candide, which is called What Befell Candide Among the Bulgarians. Basically what happened in this chapter was, so at the end of chapter 1, Candide was kicked out of the palace after he got caught with the daughter, and after that he spent the night outside in the snow, right outside the palace. And the next day he started walking towards the next city, and he stopped at an inn where he met two men, and they offered to buy him drinks. And so Candide thought that they were just being nice because he's naive and stuff. And so he accepted the drinks, and they talked, and the two people talked about the Bulgarian king. And after that, Candide was knocked out by the drinks, and when he woke up, he was kidnapped to the Bulgarian regiment, which is like the military. And they forced him to do a lot of exercises, and they punished him and stuff. And then so that went on for like a few days. And then he remembered Pangloss's philosophy about everything being for the best, and he also remembered that he had free will and he could do whatever he wanted. So he started walking away, running away. And he didn't get very far, so after getting to a certain point, he got caught and he was brought back to be punished. And they asked him if he would want to be shot, or I think it was with the fist, I don't know what it's called, the metal thing on the fist, and he was to be punched 4,000 times, so 2 times for each man in the military. And so after a couple times of being punished, he begged to be shot instead. And just as they were about to pull the trigger, the Bulgarian king had come, and he saw the commotion and he pardoned Candide. And then Candide was able to get surgery or a medical help. So yeah. Then the key themes and ideas in this chapter. So the first theme is anti-war, and this can be seen through the exaggerated portrayal of the torture, Candide being tortured. For example, on page 4, there's kidnapping, conscripting, torturing, beating, and almost executing. So this is probably Voltaire's satirical way of encouraging people to be anti-war. Then naivete. So Candide's belief in Pangloss's philosophy, and also his belief in the 2 men who brought him drinks. That shows his naivety, how he's naive and believes everything is for the best. So this shows how Candide is innocent, and Voltaire is also putting Candide in situations where he may question his philosophy. Then the literary elements used, firstly, is satire and irony. So the first one is the Bulgarian king pardoning Candide. So just as Candide was about to be shot, the Bulgarian king came and pardoned him. So this may be a little bit very fictional, and it might be satire and irony, especially as to how the Bulgarian king treated Candide and how the military treated him. Also the politeness of soldiers at first. So the 2 men that were initially very nice to Candide and buying him drinks and stuff, and afterwards when he was actually conscripted, how the military got treated him. Also the critique of war. So Voltaire uses very exaggerated descriptions of war and military life to critique it. Then the next literary element is hyperbole or exaggeration. And there's a couple examples of this. The first is the town name. So when Candide was leaving, he went to this town called I'm not gonna try and pronounce it, but basically it's very exaggerated. And also the punishment that he got for running away, 4,000 strokes, that's definitely very exaggerated. And the entire storyline is very, very fake, very fictional, very obvious that it's fiction. So, yeah. Then discussion questions. The first one, how may Candide's experience with the Bulgarian military challenge his belief in the philosophy of everything is for the best? Would anyone like to answer that? Amber, what about you?
I mean, if everything is for the best, and as like the further chapters you can tell he doesn't end up in the best situation, then how does that happen for the best? It can be quite challenging to a person's one's belief.
Okay, that's a good. But what about in this chapter specifically?
Huh.
Well, think about what happens to him. What Annie just listed, how he's tricked, he's lied to, he's deceived, he's basically held captive against his will, and then when he wants to exercise his free will, which he naively believes in, then he's punished. And basically, they almost beat him to death. So I guess we could say that's not really in support of this idea of optimism that everything is for the best.
Okay, next question. Do you think Candide is responsible for his own misfortune from being too gullible or innocent or naive? Or is he a victim of society like everyone else's deception?
I mean, out of everybody, he had to pick his cousin. So, sort of.
What about being lied to? Do you think it was him being too innocent or other people deceiving? Whose fault would it be?
I think it's both. It's the reality of life. You gotta learn it in some way.
Yeah, I agree. What about Marcus and Alicia? What do you guys think?
Yeah, indeed, he's too naive for trusting the fact of the philosophy that everything is for the best, which is why he drinks the drink given by the two soldiers. But like Amber said, it's both their fault because the soldiers shouldn't have tricked him and he shouldn't have been so naive in trusting people.
I think that he used to live in a castle, which is basically paradise, and he also learned Pangloss's philosophy, which everything's for the best. But then when he is kicked out of the castle, he faces the true reality, and it's not that great. But he still believes in that idea, which makes him very vulnerable, believing that everything anyone does to him, or what he does, is always for the best. But I think that as the story goes on, he will learn that maybe not everything's for the best. He has to make choices by himself.
Last question. What modern circumstances can be connected to Voltaire's satire against war in this chapter?
Can you explain this question?
So basically, Voltaire's kind of using his satire to critique war, and how does that still? But this was written in the 1700s, so how does that still connect to the present?
So if you guys think about what's in the news these days, do we still have war? Is it still cruel? If you follow the news, do you still hear things about how men are conscripted, often against their will, into military service in places like Ukraine? And the answer is yes, it's exactly the same, right? If you follow the news, normal average people typically do not want to go to war. All right? They're either deceived by propaganda, or they are so poor that they go for money, or they are literally captured by force in the streets, in a cafe. They are thrown into a van and they are taken to the front lines. So yeah, it does seem that nothing much has really changed when it comes to how people wage war.
Thank you. That's all.